Thank you, Madhusudan Dada, for joining today. I hope you are all right perfectly. That's great. So today, because we are going to discuss about the very interesting topic we celebrated just day before yesterday, the Renaissance Universal Day, and getting motivation from there, I thought let us have a topic today to discuss in detail. That is the role of Renaissance in addressing social disparity and fostering human progress. So there are four special words here, like Samaj is, I'll spell in Hindi, सामाजिक विषमताओं को दूर करने और मानव प्रगति को बढ़ावा देने में पुनर्जागरण की भूमिका. So there are four very important words, that is society, samaj, and disparity, and then that is called pragati, that is progress, and then renaissance, that is punarjagaran. These are the four very important words here. So what is samaj actually? That I'll just brief 2 minutes. The spirit of the word samaj, that is society, signifies a group of people who move together. किसी उद्देश्य के साथ आगे बढ़ना समाज समानम एजति इति इत्यर्थे समाज है. जब एक समुदाय विशेष के कई लोग एक साथ मिलकर चलने का संकल्प लेने वाले लोगों के समुदाय के साथ आगे बढ़ रहे हों विशेष प्रयोजन के लिए, इसे समाज समानम एजति कहा जाता है. और उन लोगों का समुदाय जिन्होंने यह साथ चलने का संकल्प लिया है, so that is called samaj. To move with a particular purpose, samanam ejati iti ityarthe samaja. When many people of the particular community are moving forward, who have taken a vow to move together for particular purpose, it is called samaj. So this is roughly what samaj is. And disparity, we know there are many disparities in society. You may take it in many ways. For example, there is a biological disparity, then there are educational disparity, then there are disparity of birth, and there are disparity of color, and then there is disparity of what you call male and female, that is sex differences. And then there are political disparity as well, and there is a socio-economic disparity as well. So there are many this kind of disparities, and that is what we call disparity, जिसको विषमता कहते हैं. सामाजिक विषमताओं को दूर करने के लिए मानव प्रगति. तो प्रगति एक वर्ड आता है, being a margi, we all know that what is progress. So the progress is we all know that prakrishta rupena gati iti sah pragati, means any progress which is going towards the subha, that is called progress. And punarjagaran is nothing but renaissance, that is awakening the people. So that is very important point. And with this, I think we should go ahead with. May I request anyone to go on the topic? And Baba has given almost 20 aims and objectives also. This, what do you call, Renaissance, universal movement. So that at the end I'll tell. And Baba has, I have noted it today especially, that each the objectives has a very different answer. I mean, how to move, how to aim to, defy this disparity or remove this disparity or reduce this disparity. Each objective spells that. So thank you very much. I think we are good enough number to start the session. And because my brother Madhusudan has come after a very long time, may I request Madhusudan ji to, say a few words to such occasion when we are dealing with disparity in social disparity, and how Renaissance is important for that. Can you unmute yourself? Yes, thank you.
Okay. Namaskar. Can you hear me okay?
Sure. Perfectly all right.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back after a while. I've had some challenges and some things going on, but everything is okay. Nice to be here. Actually, I have to admit, I joined not quite understanding what the topic was. So now I understand a little bit better from your description. But I will start by addressing the issue of disparity. And that from a proudest point of view, all disparities are artificial because, as we all know from our ideology, that human beings have more in common than they have differences. And regardless of what differences there may be, we have more in common than we have differences. And so the disparities are artificial. They've developed due to inadequacies in the economic system, in the social system. Anyway, Baba's gone into that at length, and there's no need to go over that so much. The issue of Renaissance is more important because a lot of these disparities, especially in the Vaishyan age, are maintained through psychoeconomic exploitation. And so before you can get rid of the disparities, you have to get people to understand the underlying causes of them. And to do that, one has to overcome this psychoeconomic exploitation that causes people to believe in the very concepts that are exploiting them, that they are being exploited by. And that requires having a change in ideological point of view, and that's what PROUT brings. PROUT brings us a different point of view than we would normally get of what is going on in society. Baba has given a very good analysis of history and socioeconomic issues, so that if we understand them clearly, I admit it's difficult to understand them clearly, but we must do that. By understanding them clearly, we can free our minds from the shackles that have caused these disparities, because if we don't understand the causes, we can become unwittingly participants in the continuation of disparities. Because if you don't do anything, you just participate in the system that continues to exploit people. So we have to change our point of view. And Renaissance is part of that. And part of that Renaissance is not just through intellectual study, it is also through cultural change. And a lot of the aspects of the culture that Baba built into Renaissance Universal is to help change our psychology so that we can become stronger in resisting these tendencies, these psychological tendencies of being exploited, and even even unwittingly participating in that exploitation. So I will leave it at that. I think especially those of you in India have a better perspective on how that expresses itself within your country than I do. I may give other comments later on. Thank you, Namaskar.
Thank you, Madhusudan Dada. Thank you very much. You rightly said that we should not be the part of it, and we have to do something. And Baba has also stressed on this, and we should work on in that direction. So, anybody else before? May I request my Haranand Dada to speak on the subject? And Dada very beautifully connects Prabhat Sangeet, and we love that. Beautiful. Thank you, Dada.
Yeah, I was carefully listening to both of you, and Madhusudan Dada right now pointed out about going deeper into the causes of disparities, exploitation, so that we are able to understand. If we are not able to understand, we cannot fight it. If we do not know that there is a cobra snake below the sofa set or below the bed on which we sleep, we cannot have any plans for killing it. And at some point of time, it may always bite us. So the first thing is to locate the cobra in the house. it may be the social house, it may be the family house, it may be the house of the mind. So let me start with the first thing about prejudice. Discrimination is prejudice in action, as they say. So once many people have many kinds of prejudice, but it doesn't manifest itself. There is no manifestation. Once the manifestation comes in actional form, then it becomes discrimination. Okay. So prejudice, it's a big subject of psychology, cognitive prejudice. And we are all aware that prejudice is handed over to us by the social institutions like culture, family, school, even workplace. So if we look at any place or any institution, it is handing down to us as a sordid legacy number of prejudices. Now, why? Number one, we must be aware of these cognitive prejudices that are there in our minds, because unless we know that, we cannot fight against them. And unless we are able to fight our internal enemies, we cannot fight the external enemies. घर में ही दुश्मन बैठे हैं, तो बाहर के दुश्मनों से तो लड़ाई क्या लड़ेंगे? घर के ही दुश्मन घर को बर्बाद कर देंगे. इसमें तीन चीजें हैं. पहली बात ये कि why exploitation takes place, as rightly said by Madhusudan Dada, in the Vaishyan age, the capitalist class purchases everything, purchases the courage and valor of Kshatriyas, the intellect, intuition, and the ability to sustain and retain and expand knowledge of the Brahmins, then the ability to serve physically and in other ways of the Shudras, and they have the money power to subjugate all these things to this. And Baba has rightly quoted this Vairagya Shatak of Bhartrihari, and he has quoted just one line. It's a full shloka, where he says, Sarve guna kanchanam arshanti. All virtues lie in gold. It means that money can purchase everything, and that we can see left and right. Now, apparently, there are three causes, root causes of exploitation, apart from psychic prejudice that I have already told. One is maintenance of hierarchy. Every society or culture has a set of, hierarchy. And as a part of that hierarchy, we have patriarchy also. It's also a set hierarchy that you must obey your father. It is nowhere, it is not a law given in any constitution. So these maintenance of status quo and hierarchy, exploitation is resorted to. Number two, it is also done by government indirectly through its institutions. I'll exemplify it. And number three, as we say, capillary power, to use a phrase of Michel Foucault, the great socialist and philosopher. Michel Foucault says that capillary power means power has invaded each and every corner of society, of the person's mind, family, everywhere power has entered. Like, how does water reach from the root to the leaves? It is through capillary action. Even tears flow out from the eyes, from the lacrimal glands, again through capillary action. We know, have read that bit of physics. So it is capillary power. It means that everywhere power is hidden, but we don't know. And as typical example I'll give, that in Haryana especially, when the Dalits started during their marriage ceremonies, using those horse chariots, घोड़े के रथ पे दूल्हा सवार होके जाता है, the so-called upper caste objected to it. They said it is our prerogative कि हम घोड़े के रथ पे दूल्हा को चढ़ा के ले जाएंगे बारात में, आपका ये डोमेन नहीं है. Now this is capillary power. कि आप कहीं लिख नहीं रहे हैं, बोल नहीं रहे हैं, संविधान में नहीं है, कानून में नहीं है, पर आप लागू किए हुए हैं इसको. Or if you go out to villages across the country, in some or the other sense, that capillary power is working everywhere. और आप ध्यान से देखें तो आपको पता चलेगा. एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल, करंट एग्जाम्पल हम देंगे. Ability section. My son was studying in one of the best schools of this country, and one of the finest chains. I would not name the chain. You can guess. He was in RK Puram, that school. So he, in his section, in his class, there were as many as 20 plus sections. So one was the ability section, where boys and girls who scored more than 90% were put in one section. And the whole sections were graded accordingly, marks wise. Similarly, I was told by my son today, I was asking him, Fiji, he did his coaching from Fiji. So Fiji also has an ability section where the best, the meritorious boys are put in one section. Now, let us try to understand this. Ability section means you are creating two types of discrimination. First is those who are in ability section, the best of the lot in that class, they develop a superiority complex. Okay, look, there are 24 sections in my class. I am in section A. A person who is in section K is a scorer between 50 and 60%. So on one hand, you are creating superiority complex. On the other hand, what happens to the boys of, say, last 24th section, 22nd section in the same class? They feel that since I have scored 52%, I have landed up in this section. So he is suffering from inferiority complex. So we are injecting two types of negative complexes in the minds of young boys who are in an impressionable age. And that goes far, Similarly, this I have seen this prejudice working very strongly with IT boys, because I keep on interacting with them due to my some of my routine work. So I know, somebody is from IT Delhi, Mumbai, he talks as if, there is a degree of academic arrogance in his talk. So this is how, institutions like school create discrimination. It is a prejudice. ठीक है, इट्स फाइन कि आप कहेंगे कि हमको भाई स्कूल का अच्छा रिजल्ट देना, हम अलग सेक्शन बनाएंगे, पर आप पूरी पीढ़ी को डैमेज कर रहे हैं. आप इस बात को नहीं समझ रहे. आपको पैसा कमाना है, आपके कोचिंग का रिजल्ट अच्छा होगा, लड़के 100 के बदले 200 आएंगे अगले बैच में, लेकिन आप नुकसान पहुंचा रहे हैं उन दोनों किस्म के बच्चों. खैर, अब देखिए, फैमिली एज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन हैंड्स ओवर द कल्ट ऑफ पेट्रियार्की, कि बचपन से पिता की बात मानो, ये बड़े भाई की बात मानो, एंड ऑल दोस कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑफ सैक्रिफाइस, कि बहन भूखी रह जाएगी, भाई को खिलाएगी. दिस इज आउटराइट नॉनसेंस इन माय व्यू, बिकॉज इट इज अगेन कल्केटिंग अ सर्टेन डिग्री ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. एक ही घर में माँ पिता के रहते हुए बहन को अलग ट्रीटमेंट मिल रहा है, भाई को अलग ट्रीटमेंट मिल रहा है. तो ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन काम शुरू कर रहा है, फैमिली में शुरू हो गया, स्कूल में मैंने एक एग्जाम्पल दिया, और फिर देखिए वर्क प्लेस में डिस्क्रिमिनेशन तो गैलॉर है. मतलब मधुसूदन दादा डिडंट टॉक अबाउट रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, व्हिच इज द मोस्ट टॉक्ड अबाउट सब्जेक्ट इन यूरोपियन एंड यूएसए, यूरोपियन कल्चर, एंड हमेशा होते रहते हैं वायलेंस, ब्लैक, एंड सो मेनी थिंग्स हैव हैपेंड इन यूएसए एंड अदर कंट्रीज ऑफ यूरोप. तो वर्क प्लेस में जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है. अच्छा, एक और देखिए, आप कहेंगे इंस्टीट्यूशनल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कैसे होता है. मैं अपने फोर्स के एग्जांपल देता हूं. जो सिलेक्शन होता है कांस्टेबल का या सब इंस्पेक्टर का, उसमें एक हाइट का नॉर्म होता है. बिलो दिस हाइट नोबडी वुड क्वालिफाई फॉर अ कांस्टेबल. अब देखिए इसमें क्या है, ये भी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. आप क्या ये कहना चाहते हैं कि जो 5 फीट 2 इंच का है वो सिपाही बनने के लायक नहीं है, भले उसके दिमाग में भूसा भरा हो, और 5 फीट 11 इंच का है, उसका दिमाग बिल्कुल पूरा भूसा हो, लेकिन वो सिपाही बन जाएगा. तो ये क्या, व्हाट इज दिस हैपनिंग? गवर्नमेंट ने लगातार इसीलिए देखिए इन स्टैंडर्ड्स को मॉडिफाई किया है. ट्राइबल लेडीज का हाइट कम किया क्योंकि उनकी हाइट कम होती है, और इस तरह यूएसए में भी आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू एन आर्टिकल, पहले 5 फीट 10 इंच हाइट होती थी लेडी कांस्टेबल के लिए. आफ्टर अ कोर्ट्स जजमेंट इट हैड टू बी रिड्यूस्ड. Court said it is not done, and the court applied the same logic which I am quoting right now. तो प्रोफेशनल इंटीग्रेशन, आप देखिए इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में आर्टिकल 15 और 16, ठीक है, इक्वालिटी, नो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इन कास्ट, रेस, रिलीजन, प्लेस ऑफ बर्थ, डिसेंट. डिसेंट मीन्स कास्ट का जो हिंदुस्तान में, इसमें मधुसूदन दादा टोल्ड अस, बट इट इज वी डोंट हैव टाइम टू डिस्कस द डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ऑफ कास्ट, which has totally stratified Indian society and broken the whole society into fragments. और political polarization भी जो हो रहा है वो इन्हीं लाइंस पे हो रहा है, कास्ट रिलीजन के लाइंस पे सारा पॉलिटिक्स इंडिया में चल रहा है. तो ये देखिए गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस भी नोइंगली और अननोइंगली पॉजिटिव। एक और एग्जांपल मैं दूंगा, सुनामी आया, देखिए कितनी बारीक चीज है, इसको समझना जरूरी है। सुनामी आया तमिलनाडु में, मान लीजिए कोस्ट को हिट किया, उड़ीसा में भी आया। अब उसमें जो रिलीफ और रिहेबिलिटेशन होता है, गवर्नमेंट पैसे देती है कि जिनका घर उजड़ गया उनको हम इतने पैसे देंगे घर बसाने के लिए। अब सी द ब्यूटी ऑफ द गेम। अब देखिए जिनका घर नहीं है, मछुआरे जो कि अनऑथराइज्ड इंक्रोचमेंट करके रहते हैं, झुग्गी झोपड़ी में रहते हैं, या बहुत से लोग जो लीज पे लेके कहीं रहते हैं जिनका अपना मकान नहीं है, वो क्या हुआ, दे वर डिप्राइव्ड ऑफ दिस बेनिफिट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट assistance aid in tsunami, after tsunami. So is it not a case of discrimination by the government? I accept that government of India has launched hundreds of schemes for ladies, tribals, north east India and Ladakh. So many things are happening. It means number one that government accepts that there is discrimination, but government forgets that it has in its own standards at times encourage discrimination. So I think इससे ज्यादा मैं समय नहीं लूंगा। इससे कैसे लड़ा जाए इस पर तो अभी बहुत सी बातें होंगी, पर समय कम है, इसलिए मैं I'd like to एक चीज मैं और कहना चाहूंगा कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन की जब बात आती है तो वहीं पर डॉगमा की बात आती है। और बाबा ने जहां एक तरफ ही हैज टोल्ड अस टू फाइट अगेंस्ट डॉगमा, अगेंस्ट ऑल, लाइफ इज अ सीजलेस स्ट्रगल, वी हैव टू कॉन्स्टेंटली फाइट एंड स्ट्रगल, दैट्स फाइन। दूसरी तरफ while he talks about humanism, he says it is the cult of love. So the journey starts from fight against discrimination and ends with the cult of love. एक 1235 में एक अल तुसी एक बहुत बड़े फिलोसफर थे, सूफी सेंट थे, एस्ट्रोलॉजर थे। उन्होंने 150 पुस्तकें लिखी पर्शियन में और अरबिक में, जिनकी पुस्तक अकबर लेके घूमते रहते थे। वो एक पुस्तक उनकी थी अखलाके नासिरी। इस बात को मैं इससे मैं समाप्त करना चाहूंगा। ही रोट अ बुक अखलाके नासिरी, नासिरियन एथिक्स, in 1235 AD. He was the 13th century philosopher and scientist and mathematician. He is supposed to be the founder of trigonometry also. He was the first to talk about the heliocentric model of the universe, कि धरती घूम रही सूरज के चारों ओर, against the other model of Ptolemy. So he was the first to talk about Copernican model. खैर, तो ही सेड, एक बड़ी अच्छी बात उसने कही जो हम बाबा की फिलॉसफी में देख रहे हैं, रिफ्लेक्ट हो रही है। ही सेड कि जो इंसाफ वर्ड है, द वर्ड इंसाफ कम फ्रॉम द ओरिजिनल वर्ड नस्फ। नस्फ मीन्स टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट इनटू हाफ, एंड देन ही सेज कि इंसाफ यानी जो न्याय होता है, जस्टिस, वी हैव बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट जस्टिस, सोशल जस्टिस और इकोनॉमिक जस्टिस। वो कहता है कि जस्टिस मीन्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इनटू हाफ। जब भी आप जस्टिस करेंगे तो एक आदमी खुश रहेगा, एक पार्टी दुखी रहेगी। ये देखिए अदालतों में क्या होता है, एक जीतती है एक हारती है। समाज में भी देखिए आज रिजर्वेशन दिया गया इंडिया में, तो द पार्टी गेटिंग द रिजर्वेशन इज डेफिनेटली प्रिविलेज्ड, एंड दोज हु आर डिप्राइव्ड दे आर डेफिनेटली दे आर हैविंग सम एंग्विश कि हमारे साथ तो न्याय नहीं हो रहा है। ही सेज कि ये आर्टिफिशियल यूनियन जो है, इट इज क्रिएटेड बाय जस्टिस। अदल, अदल से वर्ड बना है अदालत, और इन नस्फ से वर्ड बना है इंसाफ, मुंसिफ। ये सारे वर्ड वहीं से ओरिजिनेट होने, दोनों अदल और नस्फ दोनों का अर्थ होता है जस्टिस। ही सेज इट इज ओनली लव, मोहब्बत, which causes natural unity. Insaf can only give artificial union. This is what Baba is indirectly saying when he says तंग अच्छा तुम की बात जब वो कहते हैं, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि लड़ो मत, लड़ो। हो सकता है तुम उससे लड़े हो कल तक, लेकिन आज वो रास्ते पर आ गया तो ही इज योर मैन, ही ज्वाइंस योर बैंड ऑफ व्हाट रैशनलिस्ट, एंड ही इज अगेंस्ट डॉगमा। तो it's a we have to appreciate that all fights have to end with love if we really believe in neo-humanism. Thank you.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you very much. You rightly said that capillary power, you raise a very new, I mean, it was a new word for me, but it was so powerful and so sensitive that it has gone to the core. And but Baba, at the same time, Baba says that you have powerful tool like neo-humanism, to fight all kind of discrimination. That is what you mentioned. And new humanism is nothing but the love and the extension of love to everything. So may I request my brother? Oh, so today we have. Okay. And yeah, Srija Didi, are you in position to talk on the subject? Anyone else, please raise your hands and please speak out, please. Yes, Dilip Dada, thank you.
No, sir. I was listening a talk of Haran Dada. It is very extensive. It's a very research-oriented talk, and it's eye-opening to many. Those who have not read many books, they benefit from his discussion. I have read one of the Baba's discourse where he is saying, suppose you are watching a football game, you are in a field and you are watching a football game, and you are not related to any of the team, but still somehow you start thinking that this person, this party or this team should win. This is a very automatic thing in your mind which comes out. This Baba has given in one of his discourses which I have read and I remember it. So this kind of tendency in a human being, and you are not related to any team, but still some of the players you start liking. Oh, this person is very good. Oh, his style is very good and is very dynamic or something of that sort. Somehow he matches with your mental strength. And then you start liking him, and then you also want that the party should win. He should win. So this is a very natural for the human being. Again, for a human being to be prejudiced, it also depends on his mental state. Uh, how broad his mind is, whether he is in a position to eliminate those prejudices from the mind while taking decisions, while thinking, while in the thinking process. So it all depends. If the person, I would say, if he is a person of a God-oriented mindset, where he thinks that everyone is equal, and the word which Dada was saying about the love, you have a love for everyone. When that kind of thing will come in your mind, then only you will be in a position to give some justice. Or else, it is just not possible. And all kind of war, all kind of other things is all because of that reason. That we have not developed ourselves to the level where we remain less prejudiced uh, because we have many weaknesses for the self, for the family, for the surroundings, for the known person, and we don't have the same feeling for the otherwise. If someone is unknown, someone is in a different mindset, when Baba says he cannot hate anyone, no, Baba has said that the God can't do two things. One is he can't hate any person. That is not in his because it is his creation. The human being is created by him. This all universe is created by him. So how he can hate? So even if someone is doing injustice, someone is doing not as per your parameter, that doesn't mean that he is. You have to start disliking him. Once Baba said that he cannot dislike anyone, so I have no right to dislike anyone. I have no right to discriminate any person. So that is the thing. Today's topic is very vast discipline. It covers many aspects. Since we have started with the prejudice kind of thing, so now we are set up to that arena of discussion. So for the time being, we stop myself and I will be joining in the next session. Thank you, Ramendra.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you very much. Anybody else, please? Govardhan Dada is there. May I request
Yes.
you?
हाँ
Yes,
दादा
please. Namaskar. Thank you.
नमस्कार दादा नमस्कार all dadas and didis. So Rinasa, as you all know, in the Europe first started in 14th century, so it continued up to 17th century. It was basically a cultural movement for the transition from the middle age mindset to modern age mindset. They wanted to bring the social change. They worked for the social change in different fields, particularly art, literature, politics, science, drama, etc. So today we are discussing, about we are aiming to herald the Renaissance to eradicate the social disparities. So as you all know, social disparity is a social condition wherein there will be discrimination with regard to extending the benefits or rights, incentives, etc. So discrimination, this kind of discrimination is taking place in at several places in several forms. For example, among the social disparities, important are the gender disparity. Once upon a time in India, women were not allowed to listen to Vedas. Molten lead would be poured into their ears if they listen to Vedas. Similarly, caste discrimination is rampant even to this day. So, in our childhood, we used to see in hotels for lower caste people, they would keep separate glasses. So, even educated people, great personalities like Ambedkar were discriminated. He was discriminated even just before his death. He was so much frustrated because of the caste discrimination, along with 5 lakh people in Maharashtra. So he jumped into the Buddhism. He converted himself from Hindu to Buddhist, along with the 5 lakhs people. Due to that reason, 90% of the Buddhists are today in Maharashtra because of the impact of that Ambedkar. Because Ambedkar, though he was highly educated, he was discriminated on the caste basis. Similarly, on religion basis, there is a discrimination. In countries like Pakistan or Bangladesh, there is a discrimination against the minorities. And in countries like India, there is appeasement of the minorities. Both are not liked by the rational people. So this is a disparity. Similarly, there is a political disparity is also there. If you happens to belong to the alliance of the ruling party, so in the schemes, projects, and fund, etc., you will be given preference. Otherwise, no, you will be discriminated. This is the political disparity. So likewise, social disparity, racial disparity. So Gandhiji was thrown out of train for being a black. So these kind of discriminations in our history, several no discriminations have taken place. Even to this day, they are continuing. So this discrimination takes place because of several reasons. Because of the imposed samskara, because of the self-interest. People know they just to gain the upper hand and to derive certain special benefits. So they discriminate against others, they create inferiority complex, they exploit others. And because of the social upbringing, you are the superior caste, we are from particular lineage, so we are superior. This kind of ashtapachas, this is kulam. This is also one of the bondage. Because of such kind of several reasons, there is a discrimination in the society, but this discrimination can be removed by new humanism, as Dada has said. So with regard to bhakti, when you develop the bhakti, discrimination will automatically, you can stop, because bhakti has been defined, bhakti bhagavato seva, bhakti prema swarupini, bhakti ananda rupasha, bhakti bhaktasha jivanam, bhakti prema swarupini. It is love personified. When you love everyone, automatically you cannot discriminate, okay, anyone. Even though in Vishnu Purana, I think Vishnu, the term has been defined as Vistara Sarva Bhuteshu Vishnur Sarvamidam Jagat Drashtavya Atmavat Tasmat Abedena Vichakshana. Tasmat Abedena Vichakshana, without any discrimination. So you will treat others. So that is the Drashtavya Atmamat. You look upon him as yourself. So that's why when automatically devotion develops, you will stop discriminating from others. Then actually with regard to Renasa, how we will bring Renasa? What factors are required to bring the Renasa? So for that, Baba has said, okay, so because for progressive humanity term also came, as you all know, progressive prakrusta rupena gati iti pragati. So your movement means you are channelizing all your physical and psychic potentialities to lead towards the spiritual goal. Because in the true sense, the pragati or the progress is not possible in the physical and the psychic sphere, but definitely you can sublimate and best utilize those potentialities to move toward the spiritual goal, and collectively also you can work on those fronts. So to bring the Rinasa, Baba said that 4 factors are required. One is preceptor. We have Tarak Brahma as our preceptor. Next is a comprehensive philosophy, that too we have by Baba's grace. Next is cadre. And fourth factor is a will-knit organization. On these 2 fronts, we need to work. We need to make our organization more effective. We need to increase our competence levels in our cadre. We also increase to, there is a need to increase the numbers among the cadres. When you acquire all these 4 qualities, you can jump into the society, and for every discrimination we have a remedy, we have a logical and rational philosophy. We can propagate the cosmic brotherhood. So for that also, whatever the factors required to spread the cosmic brotherhood, that too we have. With all these, we have to equip ourselves and move into the society. Then definitely Renasa is possible, which ultimately establishes into a progressive human society. That's it, Dada, from right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhagavatam Dada. You rightly said that there are certain tools like rational education. Universalism has to be there in our education. We can fight on many fronts, and cadre is also a basic requirement if you want to fight. May I request anybody else? May I request Madhusudhan Dada, you wanted to say something more at later stage?
Actually, I do have something more to add, but I want to hear from some of the sisters first.
Yeah, right. May I request Meera Didi, Srija Didi, or Mitu Didi? They're all here. Anybody can please.
Namaskar, Dada.
Namaskar, Didi.
Very nice, important topic you have taken. Actually, ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट में रेनेशा का बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है. मुझे लगता है कि बाबा इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किए ऑल राउंड डेवलपमेंट, ह्यूमन का ऑल राउंड डेवलपमेंट में, लाइक रेनेशा पीरियड चेंज how people view the world. It leads to the more open-minded view of the world by paying attention to the detail, obtaining a realistic view of their general surrounding, and gaining a sense of individuality as well as humanistic thought. After the Middle Age, people started to recognizing the specific uh, thought, and I think this is the period we should prepare ourselves according to the Pierre Sarkar, uh, neo-mystic thought, Renaissance art, culture, and social upliftment of the society with Yama and Niyama, and uh, I think collective work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you for your points. May I request Srija Didi? Srija Didi, are you hearing? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
it's a
Didi.
bit
It's a topic to
noisy
you.
here, so that's why I couldn't unmute. Somebody is really talking
Okay.
very loud. Didis are here, so that is the reason I'm not able to. Okay, are you? Is it audible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think it is slided down, so I'll just. I have a few, words to mention. First thing is about, you know, what is Renaissance? How did the word Renaissance really come up into the human terminology? I just want to understand, because from my understanding, it is like the Renaissance really happened in the West, where the dogmatic religions were unbearable by the people, and then they went into the modernization, and that brought in the labor movement, and people started rationalizing things, and aristocracy, feudalism went down, and the other segment of society comes up, and now what we see in the West is the avoidance of religious dogmatic society, followers, and people really seeking, they really are not sure as to what it is, but they are looking for spirituality rather than religious rituals and beliefs. This is my understanding as to how what is happening in the West and even in the Middle East. A lot of mosques have been shut down. There was some discussion during some last open forum discussions where some statistics were being thrown, and it appears that people have understood that dogmas can take us down. It can bring up exploitation, and which is not what human society as such. Any person with a little amount of rationality would not accept it. But whatever said and done, customs and dogmas, they have their own way of influencing people's mind, because they are long set things, and for that to change, there needs to be in the change in the system by itself. Looking at it in that perspective, I would just like to bring in a legal something which is viewed by the court. The other was just talking about, I think it's Haran Dada who
Yeah.
mentioned about caste based, some rituals were not allowed in a part of the country, Haryana, I think, where they said, no, this is our prerogative. Where do you get all these, beliefs? It is just because, there is an upper hand somewhere. And even otherwise, there are people who take down upon the majority. That is also happening, because they cannot voice their thing, because then it will be considered going against the minorities, or going against, propagating casteism. This lack of clarity also brings in a certain set of confusion among people as to where to set their standards. So if we are able to just look at the aspect of yesterday, I was just going through a matter where women, though there is a law which says that it is not, the property is equal for men and women in a family, even if be it ancestral, or unless and otherwise it is willed out, it is equal. But has that been really accepted by the society yet? The patriarchal society still remains, and people are still made to write off their rights during marriage. women are still, 50% of the population is still under that influence. Why is it like? Because the social system, it takes time to change, but the change really happens much faster among the youth. They go by trends, they go by what is present. So the importance would lie in bringing up children, bringing up the society which is more liberal and more thought-provoking rather than following customs. We can just see, what happened in case of hijab. When one community said, I will go by hijab, there was another community who gave, okay, I will also come with my turbans and thing. It became a trend, but suddenly there was a realization that is more fundamental. It's fundamentalism, and that is not how youth should think. There was a change, so we need to voice ourselves wherever it's necessary. I was just interviewing myself as to why women are still thinking, not able to come out and say, no, this is the law and it has to be enforced. It is not only for myself, it is for the progeny which has to go forward. But we are not able to say that because, as Baba has said, that women, they are not actually, they have given up their rights rather than it being taken off. Most of it is self-driven also. Unless and otherwise you become proactive, exploitation will continue. There has to be somewhere the enabling factors where people, not only awareness but also execution should be enabled, and that is possible, at least in a model society. It should be possible, which I find is still we are lagging. Even in the urban population, who are very much aware of these things, they still haven't come out of that mindset as to say, like Dada said that, like, okay, this is the custom, everybody eats, and then the lady of the family goes, and what is left out is taken, and that is considered as a big sacrifice, which is really actually what happens to the family. The lady of the family, when she goes down, the family goes down. That's the truth. They don't realize it till it comes to that. So health is a priority for women also, but that doesn't seem, it always takes a backseat, and finally after 50 years the family starts struggling. So actually it is something that it has become a custom that, okay, this is how good families run. What is good family, what is good women, what is good child? All these definitions really have to change. It has to be more rationalized, and upbringing would be more important. And if that upbringing is becoming part of our life, then we will see the change. If we are not able to implement it among ourselves, we will not be able to talk about it among others. So I think what I've said is, just something which we are seeing every day. And if to that part of it, Baba expects us to be a model society. We are talking about universalism, and this is a organization which has a universal presence. And if that model society follows that, I have a feeling, it's not personal, I have a feeling that we'll have a right to talk about it, and we will have the courage to talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. So you see the scope of Renaissance movement is vast. And Baba says that is why that you will have to start work from the very moment, and it brooks no delay. So there Baba was very serious on this, and we should be equally serious. Yes. Anybody else, please? Yeah, Gautam Pradhan ji, you want to say something? Kripya bole.
नमस्कार दादा, नमस्कार दीदी सभी को।
Namaskar.
एक वो है कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ऑफ कास्ट, कलर एंड क्रीड इज मोस्ट डेंजरस फॉर ह्यूमन सोसाइटी। जाति, वर्ण, नस्ल, इन सब के आधार पर भेद करना मानव समाज के लिए बहुत ही बड़ा बाधाकारी चीज है। तो सामाजिक विषमताओं को दूर करने और मानव प्रगति को बढ़ावा देने में पुनर्जागरण की महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका है। आनंद मार्ग प्रचारक संघ के डिफरेंट जो डायमेंशंस हैं उसमें अगर देखा जाए तो पुनर्जागरण की ओर भगीरथ प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल जहां तक मुझे समझ में आ रहा है, इसमें से अगर बोलेंगे, आनंद मार्ग में अगर आरएम किया जाता है, रिवोल्यूशनरी मैरिज जिसको विप्लव विवाह कहते हैं, ये सामाजिक विषमताओं को दूर करने और मानव प्रगति को बढ़ावा देने का एक उदाहरण ही तो है। रिवोल्यूशनरी मैरिज करते हैं जहां जो पौरोहित्य करते हैं वहां दीदी को भी पौरोहित्य का अधिकार है, यानी कि स्त्री और पुरुष दोनों को बराबर माना जाता है, तो यहाँ पर समता चालू होती है। दूसरा चीज, अगर श्राद्ध संस्कार में भी देखा जाए तो पौरोहित्य का अधिकार दीदी लोगों को भी उसमें दिया गया है। तीसरा चीज, जो एक लैंग्वेज सेंटिमेंट या किसी को लेकर के कोई अगर है तो आरएम करते हैं, तो कोई स्पेशल लैंग्वेज वाला दूसरे लैंग्वेज वाले से अगर मैरिज करता है तो लैंग्वेज सेंटिमेंट भी आपका वहां पर खत्म होता है, रीजनल सेंटिमेंट भी वहां पर खत्म होता है, कंट्री का भी लेकर के सेंटिमेंट वहां पर खत्म होता है। आनंद मार्ग की जो शिक्षा पद्धति है, एजुकेशन फॉर ऑल है, सविद्या या विमुक्त है, वो भी समाज को, सबको विषमता को दूर करने के लिए, मानव प्रगति के लिए तो बनाया गया है। दूसरा चीज, अगर हम प्रभात संगीत की बात करेंगे, दादा जैसे हरानंद दादा का प्रभात संगीत पे बहुत अच्छा उनका एनालिसिस रहता है। अगर संगीत के क्षेत्र में देखेंगे तो एक प्रभात संगीत है, बोंधु है निये चलो। उस बोंधु है निये चलो में इंडो बने हुई है, वेस्टर्न भी है। बोंधु है तब ये वाला पार्ट इंडियन पार्ट है, तो निये चलो तो वेस्टर्न सॉन्ग का वेस्टर्न म्यूजिक है, यानी कि उसमें सारे म्यूजिक को बराबर तरजीह दी गई है, इंपॉर्टेंस दी गई है। तो बाबा ने कोई भी जगह में कहीं भी दिया है तो किसी पर्टिकुलर लैंग्वेज, जैसे छोटा सा चीज बताऊंगा, अगर डीएमएस होता है, अभी कल ही कुछ दिन पहले की बात हुई थी कि डीएमएस अगर होता है तो बाबा वहाँ छऊ नृत्य को महत्व देते थे, 10 मिनट तक देखते थे, माने वहाँ सब डीएमसी में देखते थे। इसका मतलब क्या है कि हम अगर सामाजिक विषमताओं को दूर कर रहे हैं तो वहाँ लोकल जो कल्चर है उसको भी हमको आगे साथ साथ बढ़ाना है। ये तभी हो सकता है जब हम पुनर्जागरण की दिशा में हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। तो इतना मेरा बोलना था दादा, ज्यादा तो नहीं जानता हूं मैं, ये मेरा विचार था।
Thank you very much, Gautam Dada. Thank you so much. So, anybody else, please?
Yes, Dada,
Yes, Haranand Dada.
I'll just take a few minutes.
Yeah.
In response to what Srija Didi said about Renasa, I have to just put in a note of caution that Renasa, one, it had the patronage of church, especially we all know that, sculptors like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, they were all patronized basically by the church. Number two, the main difference between the Renasa that Baba has launched and the Renasa that took place in medieval Europe, especially in Italy and some neighboring countries, was, as Will Durant says, there was a moratorium on morality in Renasa. If you look at the class in Italy, in Venice and Florence and other places, go into the social history of that period, it's very interesting. Complete, liberalization of morals, to the extent that the great German reformer Martin Luther, as a priest, when he visited Rome in 1515, he writes that if there is a hell on earth, if there is hell anywhere on earth, it is in Rome. So this is one of the harshest attacks on the Rome, where the Roman papacy, a pope was located. And next point I would say, right now our young friend rightly pointed out certain things about revolutionary marriage, and as far as linguistic unity is concerned, Samaj movement is a big deal, big movement launched by Baba, and so many things. If you look at the whole agenda, the whole project, he gave the philosophy and then he gave the plan for action. This is what Karl Marx could not do. He never gave the path of reconstruction, which confused Lenin and later on the Chinese revolutionaries also. So the path of reconstruction was also clearly laid out. The roadmap was given by several projects, a few of them, like as he rightly said, RM is going to ultimately result in social synthesis, especially interreligious. We are aware that 40 years ago, an Indian girl married a German lady, and so many things have happened, so it was a great idea 40 years ago to have international marriages, interfaith marriages, a Christian boy marrying a Hindu girl. And I would like to also submit that the September DMS in one of the Central Asian countries is in a country which is totally Islamic in population, and the whole thing is being hosted by a person who is by born, faith-wise, he's a Muslim. So, and the whole project, the whole project of DMS in that country in September 1st week 2024 is sponsored totally by that gentleman who is now a Margi. And how the switchover of faith has taken place in a big way in countries like Siberia and Central Asia, Tashkent, even this Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. So we know about those developments, in the Middle East. So it has swept across the Middle East in a big way. And of course, it is only a wind that can become a storm slowly. So this is a revolutionary change. Baba always talked about synthesis, synthesis of music, as rightly pointed out by my young friend, synthesis of thought. He said that, ultimately, when he talks about Shudra revolution, and the back to Rajput age, Kshatriya age, as he says, but he says that the ultimate control will be in the hands of Kshatriyas, the Sadvipras. But he says the class, we must read that small discourse on class domination and class struggle. He says that class domination will continue, but when it restarts again after this Shudra revolution, these Sadvipras have to rein them in. They have to control them because there is an inherent tendency of a particular caste to dominate. So all the projects have been given in the Anand Marg. The entire philosophy has been what Karl Marx said, and it is engraved on his grave about 40 kilometers away from London. Is the grave of cemetery where Karl Marx's grave is located. He says, and Baba has quoted it, philosophers have interpreted the world. The point, however, is to change it. This is a famous statement of Karl Marx, which Baba has appreciated, and he has said his analysis of capitalism, he says, was absolutely, there was nothing wrong in it. But then he went on a different dimension. That's all. That was a true submission. Thank you.
Right, Dada. He gave everything, but he could not give synthesis. That is what Baba has given.
Yes.
And it's quite logical and it's quite scientific, and that is why you mentioned that even the other faith people are there to host your DMS and all that. This is because we are logical, we are scientific, and we are at present. So thank you, Dada. Thank you very much. May I request Madhusudhan Dada to please speak on the subject, please? Yes.
Yes, no, sure. First, I want to take exception to a comment that was mentioned that with devotion, if someone has devotion, that they will no longer discriminate. It's not true. That's why Baba gave, if that was enough, then Baba didn't need to give ideology. All he needed to do is give Bhavanam Kevalam, and we'd all get liberated. It's not enough. That's why even Baba mentioned that devotional sentiment is not a constant flow. It is not something that is maintains a static state all the time. Your devotional sentiment will have ups and downs. That's why we have ideology, because ideology protects us from those points in our mind when devotion may become a little weak. It happens. It's a normal human concept. Plus, the other thing is, Harananda mentioned this, that I hadn't talked about racial discrimination. It's because it's a very big topic. But I will mention in that context that one aspect of racial discrimination is in the United States has been recognized as institutional racism, and that is that the institution, if an institution is created by people who have racial sentiments, then those racial sentiments are built into the institution so that at a later time, even people without those sentiments are compelled to follow those concepts and those institutions perpetuate that kind of discrimination. One has to study and analyze, aware of what those things are. Plus, every one of us comes from different backgrounds. We go through our education system. Those discriminatory concepts are built into the educational system. They're built into our cultures, and we have to, and they've been infused into our own minds. It's part of our sadhana to recognize all of those things and root them out. It can't be done just by sitting and doing sadhana and singing Bhavanam Kevalam and having a nice devotion. That's good, but it's not enough. One has to do more. One has to take an active role. And in eliminating all of these difficulties and discrimination, it really is hard work. I want to relate something, a big lesson I got from Baba. It happened in my personal contact. Very briefly, Baba said to me in personal contact, he said, "What do you want to do in this life?" And I said, "Baba, I want to do service. I want to help people." Baba's response was, "Do you have the moral courage to do this?" It took me decades to figure out what that meant. And because I was thinking, why does one need moral courage to do good? Well, the problem is when you do good, bad things happen. When you do good, there are entrenched forces in the society that try to maintain the status quo, and those people will fight against you. Even when you try to remove discrimination, there are entrenched forces will fight against that. Even the people are being discriminated against, they even themselves will fight against your efforts against discrimination because of lack of understanding. It's very complex.
Right, Sada. It is complex. So thank you, everyone. I think if you allow me, shall I just you can correlate what Baba is trying to say when he's uttering about aims and objectives of Renaissance Universal. I'll read. The number one, he says, to propagate the values of neo-humanism, to develop means and measures for the welfare of all living entities, and provided to all the people of the world full scope for supreme fulfillment. And that is fight with powerful tools, neo-humanism. That is what he's giving us, that you have to be neo-humanist. And what devotion, I think what Dada was mentioning is, when Baba says in neo-humanism, that is the ultimate, that is the humanity, I mean, at a cult stage, then as a essence stage, and then spirituality becomes the mission. And that stage probably is we are calling devotion, when people don't discriminate between you and mine. And that is the stage where it will be easy to tackle these issues. The second point is to create a common forum for the moralists of the world. Here, very interesting, Baba is saying, irrespective of their socio-political, religious affiliations. That is why Baba has also said at many places that unite the moralists of the world. The third is to mobilize the moralist forces to fight against partialism, that is a narrowism, जिसको बोलते हैं संकीर्णता, that like communalism, corruption, hypocrisy, culture, I mean, anything that is detrimental to the collective progress. So those all factors, those all narrow things has to be fought. And to educate and enlighten the individuals and collective mind concerning the dreadful consequence of narrow and vociferous philosophies. This we are witnessing at our place itself. So people have to be educated. This is the narrow vociferous philosophy has a bigger, fallback, and help people imbibe the holistic and universal values of neo-humanism. People, you can say, because of these narrow sentiments, whether it's a geo, whether it's a socio, whether it's a religious, and many things we discussed even right from our school level there is a discrimination. There is unknowingly discrimination. So to fight them, we have to be very rational in our approach. The fifth point, Baba says, to create congenial condition for people to develop their higher and nobler faculties. So the atmosphere has to be given, and this starts from the primary education. The sixth point was to harness the psycho-spiritual potentialities of the plants, animals, and human beings, and take care of the environment. Baba was very clear about the ecology, that is sustainability part of it. The seventh point was to encourage research in all aspects of the human thought: cosmology, origin of life, ecology, and music, art, and in general, all topics of the relevance, which is relevance for the society. The eighth is to facilitate maximum utilization and rational distribution of the resources of our planet to meet the needs of the global family. That is what comes in economic disparity. The ninth is to encourage creative and value-based art, architecture, culture, music, dance, drama, and literature through Rava. Baba says that art should not be for the art's sake. It should be for the benevolence of the people. And so should be the science. This is a very additional thing which Baba is saying. Science is not for the destroying the world. It is in the hand of the good people, so that its benefit is, taken by the people at large. 10th point was to extend patronage to creative and poor artists, musicians, and literatures of the unhindered unfoldment of their potentialities. But there should be chance. Everybody should get chance to explore the possibility with according to their potentiality. The 11th was to encourage the application of philosophy, art, literature, and scientific innovation for all-round collective welfare. That is what he's saying. The science should be again for the welfare of society. The 12th was to work for the harmonious, consistent, and progressive development of all the facets of the human life, that is physical, mental, and spiritual. And that is what he's saying, that there should be renaissance in all the three strata of life, that is physical, mental, and spiritual. The 13th point was to oppose all dogmatic, hypocritic, and compartmentalization prevailing in the present society. And that is what we discussed at length today. To work for the establishment of neo-humanistic fraternity, that is love for all and hatred for none. And not only for the human, but even for the plants and animals. That is what is called neo-humanism. The 15th point was to exert and expand all its sources for the cause, all its resources for the cause of peace, universal fraternity, and social security. The next point is to collect and raise funds from institutions and members of the society for promoting the welfare of all people, irrespective of distinctions such as caste, creed, color, religion, or nationality. And that these are all points he has mentioned in his one chapter, that is the Renaissance in all the sphere of life. 17th point was to open art exhibitions, art galleries, and music academies with the help of Rava. So this is also the way you can inculcate neo-humanism. You can inculcate humanity among the people. Like yesterday, day before, Haranandada was saying how this Prabhat Sangeet can also create this kind of help. To organize drama club, to promote theaters, open ballot, and dances. So these are the means you can propagate the people how to fight discrimination. The 9th point was to create pension funds for old age artists, writers, and are in distress. The many who carried out through a board of trustees by raising funds, means whatever you can do for the as sympathizers of art and artists, as well as through government grants. We have to educate people. The last one, the 20th one, was to create a distress relief fund for the sudden unfortunate predicament and for granting loans to artists and nominal rate of interest. So this is how Baba was very sympathetic towards arts, literature, and everything. And any kind of discrimination is not accepted. Acharya Vimalananda Dadaji, are you hearing us? Vimalananda Dada, yes, thank you so much, Dada. We are
Thank you all.
very clear
Thank
from
you
you.
all for
Thank you.
inviting me. And
Thank you.
it has been a great time listening all of you and your views. And yes, you have taken so many angles of view on this topic. The thing is that when we talk about social equality and social inequality, from Proutistic point of view, some questions came to me earlier, and that's why I was interested also to listen this topic, how you discuss. And people have said to me at times since 1980, 79, I should say, that PROUT allows social inequality because the very beginning shlokas, the principles of PROUT, it says that there will be Shudras, there will be Khatriyas, there will be Vipras, and there will be Vaishyas, and they have their own special acumen. And Shudras have no acumen at all. They are toiling people of the society. So PROUT recognizes the layers of social classes. So when you talk about that from Proutistic point of view, this remains to be addressed because it was supposedly being a Proutist platform, UPIF platform. So naturally, people may like to listen the Proutistic perspective, not the Renaissance perspective that you have done very nicely. But what is the Proutistic perspective on this? That social inequality, how do Proutists define the social issue of the social inequality and social equality? And that example you can see very nicely in American Constitution. Baba once commented where I was myself present, and he said that America is the #1 socialist country in the world. That was again after Baba coming out of prison. No, actually it was before Baba going into prison. He has made this comment. America is the greatest socialist country on the world, on the surface of earth. So when I am now looking back to that statement of Baba, and when I have lived in the USA, understood the USA, how it functions and works, yes, social inequality does not exist here. Even though there are rich people, there are poor people, there are talented people, there are people who are graduates and who are not graduates, people who have not seen the colleges or universities, they're also here. But there are two things that makes America special. I'm not giving a class on America I'm talking about element of social equality in the USA. That aspect, America has very nice two clauses. One is freedom of expression. No matter what you want to believe in, no matter what you want to do as a citizen, you are free to do that. Not only as a citizen, even a tourist coming here, he or she will also have the same, the government will stand for your freedom of expression. Nobody can suppress you expressing your views on things. And the second is rule of law. The rule of law says everybody is equal in the eyes of law. And the statue of justice, the lady with a balance in her hand, you can see that always eyes are blindfolded. That justice does not see who is in front of her to judge. She will judge without seeing the color or the social status of the individual. Even the president, now if you can see, if you are following the American news, Trump is in a big crisis because he is also not above the law and he has to answer and answer, even though he's president. Damn care. Law is the greatest thing. And everybody is equal in the eyes of law. So these two things, freedom of expression and, equality before law, that is rule of law. The law will govern the country, not my likings or dislikings. That element in PROUT, Sadvipra's system, Baba is talking of Sadvipras, and in that chapter, Baba is saying, a Sadvipra or the Sadvipras may like a person, but if that person is on a wrong footing, Sadvipras will not restrain themselves from taking action against that person. Sadvipras may not like a person, but that will not inspire them to take action against that person who they don't like if they have not done anything wrong. So this is further expansion on the rule of law that America has got. America has this kind of favoritism, but the Sadvipras, Sadvipra boards, predominance in the system of PROUT, delivers that social equality, atmosphere for everyone. I may like a person, but the person is doing something ideologically wrong or wrong as per neo-humanistic views, then the person must be paying for it, must be punished for it, must be taking responsibility for it and learn the lesson. Or a person I may not like, but if the person is correct, a person may have been against me personally. Suppose you will not go after him or her with a sentiment of vengeance. Rather, you will always evaluate on the basis of ideological, righteousness, whether the person is ideologically correct or ideologically wrong. So here, for us, there's ideology. For America, there's a written rules, the law. They have the law book, and nobody is above the law. For us, we don't have a law book written there, but we have a Sadvipra psychology, which is well defined, a Sadvipra class, which is well defined, and that is neo-humanistic, mindset, Samaj Tattva. You see, Samaj Tattva is there to govern and to guide us in delivering the administrative, services to the society without thinking about their social status, even though there are four classes, and four type of mindsets in society. But the fifth mindset, which is a new one now existing, created by PROUT and Baba's blessings, Sadvipra mindset. The Sadvipra mindset will be, delivering that, thing of social justice and social injustice issues. Karl Marx did not deliver that. It was prevalent in the. It was very badly delivered or very badly, practiced in the feudal times. Then Karl Marx comes and he brings the theory of socialism where everybody will be equal on equal footing, but they could not deliver it because they don't have the element of morality in them. Entire book of Karl Marx does not talk about morality at all. Entire book of socialism, nobody is talking of morality of the individual who will be delivering it. You see, and this is what happened when China collapsed. The Gang of Four came out, and they were doing so many rapacious things, so many corrupt things they were doing under the very nose of the Mao Zedong and all those great uh, rulers of communist regime. So the same thing was happening in Russia. The entire oligarchs were building up under the very nose of Lenin and Stalin and all of them. So it's only PROUT system which creates a new class, a new class of Sadvipras. They have inherently, embedded ideology of, how to deliver, social justice, social equality, even though the natural, reality remains in place, that there will be four different kind of mindsets and classes and social performance, and their social equality will never be achieved. PROUT says very clearly that, Vaichitram Prakrita Dharma Samanam na Bhavishyati. To create varieties and peculiarities is the very law of nature. Equality shall never be. So we need to look into this aspect when we are talking from the Protest Intellectual Forum platform. Then I think I would be, contributing this kind of my opinion on the topic. Thank you very much for
Thank you, Dada.
allowing me to express my views.
Thank you for extending our thoughts, that there is a fifth category of Varna, and that is only PROUT says, and what kind of psychology they will have. Thank you so much. And I think our time is also up. But Dada, thank you so much. And our humble request will be that you please continue to be with us on this day. And you started this forum and we are continuing. And when you are there, थोड़ा इसमें चार चांद लग जाता है. So please be.
Char Chand to Char Chand, it becomes more bright because of Baba's blessing. But yes, I have been given
I know,
added
Dada,
duties
you
and
have such a big
responsibilities.
department, many departments.
I will, whenever I will do my dropping there. I will, let me see, wherever possible, I will come in. Okay, I have to be off now. Thank you all very much, and Baba's blessings to all of you.
Thank
And
you,
I
Dada.
love this.
Thank you
I
very
love
much.
this forum. Still, I have my affinity for this
Yeah.
forum. And it's very nice to see Madhusudan ji and all of you, and Meera Didi and Srija Didi and all great personalities are all here. Okay, I have to go now. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dada.
Please
Thank you.
allow
Namaskar.
me.
So,
Yeah, namaskar.
with the last few lines, we'll be closing the session. As Baba said, the Renaissance people will have to raise their voice against this kind of discrimination, and they will have to do it now. They will have to do it immediately. And I'll also desire, Baba says that he'll also desire to you to so that you should move on the path of Renaissance, which is fully supported by rationality from today. So with these words of Baba, Let us go for a minute of meditation before we close the session. Thank you. Please join 1 minute for meditation. Thank you so much.